Hey everybody, this is Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it is just Marco here once again. Oh my God. I just finished suffering. And I use the word suffering. I use that word kind of sometimes. This is the movie. Oh, God. Ugh. I just got done suffering through Beetlejuice. This movie is one of the worst sequels that I've ever seen. It is like Ghostbusters Afterlife. Or no, wait, no. What was that called? Frozen Empire, whatever the fuck. It was like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, but a little bit better. Like a little tiny bit better. This movie pissed me off. At first, I was like, okay, is this going to be a really good movie? Like, it's kind of slow. They're building things up. Where is Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis? It's kind of sad they're not here because they were a large part of why the first movie was good. It wasn't just Winona Ryder and Beetlejuice and the mom and everything. It was also, even Otho, he was a really entertaining character. I know he's dead. But then after a while, after I would say like 35 minutes, I realized that the movie was bad. I realized that, because when the movie started, I had some questions about some of the things they introduced, like where characters are. You know how in these, like, sequels that are made, like, years and years later, they have to do a, where are they now? Like, like a montage of all the characters. Well, they do that in this movie. It feels so unnatural what all happened with the characters between the movies. Funnily enough, the only things that make sense are with the stepmom and then the dad, who... the real life sex offender guy, his character, what happens with them makes total sense. But what happens with everyone else, including Beetlejuice and Winona Ryder's character, it makes no sense whatsoever what happened to them. And honestly, I don't even want to do a non-spoiler review because this movie sucks. And I don't want to have to like do a long review, but this review will probably be pretty long, because when something like this makes me so mad, I have to say the truth about it, because I really feel like I don't know what you could even like about this movie. Honestly, it's so fake and so phony. There's no heart to it. There's no, like, substance. Like, they haven't made a sequel for all these years. And it's like, look what they finally chose to do. Like, you look at this movie and you go, wait a second. This is what they planned the whole time? This is... Or not the whole time, but this is why they came back? This story, if you could even call it a story. I mean, this movie, I didn't watch the trailers because I thought, it'll probably be really good. I'm going to be positive about it. But, like, there is no story in this movie. It is just a bunch of random shit happening for 2 hours or an hour and 40 minutes. It's just a bunch of random stories that kind of connect at the end a little tiny bit. Like, what the main story, the one that Safi told me about, that didn't even start happening until, like, an hour into the movie. And so, like, it just... God, Ugh! Why did they do this movie? were they thinking? Okay, let's get into it. It's a terrible Winona Ryder movie. It's a terrible Jenna Ortega movie. I mean, just, God, I hate this movie. It's just, why would you do this? Why would you destroy Beetlejuice like you just did? Just, who wrote this movie? Who the fuck wrote this piece of shit? I want to see who this is. Oh my God! They got the guy who did The Mummy Part 3? The Mummy Part 3? Oh no! God, it's just... Why did they do this, guys? Why did they just make these shitty movies? This movie was nothing but a commercial and a vehicle for other commercials. Like, hey, all those advertisements now of, like, insurance companies, car places, food, candy, shit. And you got Beetlejuice branding on it. They got Beetlejuice Fantas. Those taste like shit. I've had it. I've had the Beetlejuice Fanta. I had a shot glass full and I almost threw up. Safi couldn't even handle it either. She gave it a fuck you. That was her fucking grade. This movie doesn't even deserve a fuck you. It's so fucking bad. So let's get into why. Winona Ryder's character is, if you can, it's not even, this isn't Lydia Dietz. This isn't Lydia fucking Dietz. This is Winona Ryder. It's just think of that. Just her, I'm just so pissed off, guys. It's just, why did they do this? Why can't they write a good script? Why can't they write a story? It's just, Lydia Dietz's character, let's get into the movie. Her character is now a complete sellout. She's doing this, like, ghost show where she is hosting it in the Beetlejuice house. And, she's kind of, like, turned into a sellout. So that's, like, kind of a cliche sequel thing, where the main character turns into, like, kind of like, what else this movie's kind of like? It's kind of like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Just a bunch of random shit happening the entire movie, and they want you to think it's a good fucking movie. But, like in Halloween 2, where Dr. Loomis sells out and everything, like how he is in the second movie, that's how Winona Ryder's character is in this movie. Except at least Dr. Loomis in Halloween 2 is actually entertaining and funny. Like, he was one of the better things about that movie, just because... they had him on the Weird Al show and everything or whatever. They actually did a good job with that. But with this, and I can't believe that's how bad this movie is. I'm comparing it to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Lydia's character, she's seeing Beetlejuice everywhere. That's one of the plots of the movie. That's one of the 20,000 plots that this movie has, because it just can't commit to one fucking plot like a normal fucking movie. This is one of those times, guys, where I am genuinely angry. Who likes this movie? Who gave this movie a good review? I mean, just, God, you fall for anything. You fall for anything that looks good. Just because this movie used practical effects, just because this movie was shot well, this movie looked like a commercial the entire movie. It didn't even look like the original movie. It looked fake and phony, cartoony. It looked like a funhouse ride. It looked like you're at a carnival or something, the whole fucking movie. I hate it. Winona Ryder's character, she's taking some crazy pills. That's kind of like that's another kind of cliche thing that happens in sequels. To show that the main character is still upset from the events of the first movie, she's taking pills. And it's a lot of effect that has on the plot. Not! And then I will say the worst character in the movie is Justin Theroux, is Rory, who's Winona Ryder's boyfriend. He is the stupidest character in the history of movies. He's basically a character who was meant to be bad. and he has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. He's basically like her father from the first movie, except he was actually likable, which is ironic considering what he did in real life. But like his character was really likable and charismatic, and he really felt like a good fatherly character, which is also really ironic. But this guy, he is just the absolute worst. Just, I can't stand him. Nothing about him, his character is funny at all in the movie. He is just a waste of space, and I wish that he would leave the fucking movie. It's bad enough that he had no chemistry with Winona Ryder, because you think about Lydia Dietz. You think about this character from the first movie who is not even in this movie. This is just Winona Ryder in cosplay, because all of her decisions are nothing like what Lydia would have done in the first movie. Lydia from the first movie, that just I just can't believe where she ended up in life. I can't believe that she got married and then her husband got in an accident and she had none of it is believable at all. It is so fake. It is so one-dimensional. It is so insincere. It is so, that's the thing. They kind of tricked you. They wanted you to think this movie was going to be a return to form for Tim Burton, who has had a big mixed bag of a career. He really fell off at a certain point. And, Wednesday is pretty good, but like Wednesday is the only thing in recent years that's any good. But this movie, it is so bad. It is so bad. I just can't list enough reasons to dislike this movie. Like, seriously, and I haven't even gotten into the plot yet. I'm just talking about the characters, the bad characters in this movie. Beetlejuice. Let's get to the cameo character, because he's basically like a cameo in his own movie. And I know that people are going to say, like, he was only in the original movie for 15 minutes. That doesn't matter. You know why? Because at least the first movie was good. At least the first movie was good. Okay? Beetlejuice was utilized effectively. You looked forward to his character. In this movie, he shows up to provide some comedic relief and to also basically provide a lot of plot convenience too. He basically he shows up and he does his little thing. He puts on a show. He's almost like, it's also like a carnival type of thing where it's like, oh, look, guys, you get to see Beetlejuice for 1 minute. Oh, look, it's Beetlejuice again. Oh, wow. It was so nice to see him for that 1 minute out of this 2-hour movie that I won't ever get back in my life. Beetlejuice is now working some kind of a weird desk job in this weird little place that's in the afterlife. Like, I have no idea what he's doing in this movie. It is so bizarre. It's so weird in a stupid, bad way. And remember that creature that's sitting next to him in the first movie in the waiting room? Well, somehow, they don't explain this, of course, somehow he's made friends with this species. I don't know what kind of species it is. I'm pretty sure that was just that one character, but no, for merchandise reasons, for commercializing the first movie, no. There's now all these Bob characters. I guess Bob is a species, and they're all working for Beetlejuice. It makes no sense. And then also, one of the Bobs is dressed like Beetlejuice in a weird way, and I did kind of like that. I thought that was a good idea. But it was also a thing where it was like, clearly, this is so that they can sell toys, merchandise, and all that crap. So I didn't understand what was going on with Beetlejuice. I don't know what he was doing there. It didn't make any sense at all, frankly. Now let's get to one of the only good things about the movie, which is Catherine O'Hara is the stepmother. She was actually really good. She felt like she was just taken straight out of the first movie and put into modern day. Like, she was the only character in the movie who I felt like, yes, this is where that character would be. Sorry. She acts exactly like the character throughout the whole movie. I liked where she ended up at the end, where she died because of this scam with these snakes that she bought that they claimed that they were defanged or some bullshit. And it's like, I liked all of that. I thought that was one of the only good things about the movie. But still, it was also kind of random, too. It's like she dies at the end. Whoop-de-doo! Whoop-de-doo! Just another character who just gets killed off. Yeah! That's so good! Now, let's get to the sex offender guy, Charles. Charles... This is probably another one of my only favorite things about the movie. He died in this really hilarious way to where, like, they go through this whole sequence showing his death, and it is just like the most miserable death of all time. And it's just so funny, and it's perfect for the character. And I thought that was perfect, but also another thing that this movie did, and I don't know why, another thing that this movie did was they would have a scene, and it would feel like, okay, this scene, it's almost like they go on for so long that you're wondering, like, okay, it's gotten past the point of being funny now to where it's just boring and dull. There's so many scenes in this movie, they just drag on and on and on for the point of, like, awkward comedy. And it's terrible. It's terrible. Like, half of the movie is spent talking about the dad's death. I thought that they did that so that they could just get that out of the way so that they could get on to the real plot of the movie. But again, there is no plot to this movie. There are plots all over the place. This movie is all over the place. Another trash character was Willem Dafoe. He plays this method actor guy who is like an afterlife detective, cop, whatever. He was trash. I mean, he would show up in the movie, he would do some random shit, and then he would, he was just so ineffective and so irritating and bad. I didn't like his character at all. I thought that was a huge waste of his talents, and I thought that, But then again, this whole movie is a waste of space. This whole movie is just a complete waste. Like, they really wasted these actors. They wasted everything. And I think it all has to do with the script. It all has to do with, like, okay, instead of telling an interesting and new story, we're going to tell a bunch of random shit stories that are just trash in every way, shape, or form. Now, let's get to Wednesday. Jenna. I'm talking to you, Jenna. Who the hell? Who is that? That's weird. What? I don't know any... Guys, this is really weird. I just have to share this with you. There's this person... Who is that? There's this person in my Yahoo email... and it says Sharon in the subject, and she says, "Bowler, hi, there it is, my new email box." Who the hell's that? Oh, that's weird. You know what else is weird? It was 6:18 when the email was sent. And so you could plus the 1 and the 8 and it'd be 6-9. That's weird. Okay. We're having some supernatural technical difficulties up in this bitch. What the fuck is up with that? So anyways, let's get back to the shitty movie. Jenna. You know what's really funny is that I thought that this movie was going to be bad because of Jenna being in it. I thought that, like, they were really trying to pander to the younger audience with her character and that she wasn't going to be any good. But, Jenna Ortega continues to surprise me. She is so likable in her interviews, and she seems to actually be a pretty good actress. And I actually kind of liked her in this movie. It's just too bad because the scriptwriter didn't like her at all because he gave her a shitty-ass plot that sucked. He gave her what was essentially like a rip-off of the the Wednesday thing where, she falls in love with this guy who has like a troublesome home life, especially issues with his father, and then it turns into this whole thing where, he's a child killer who uses her to get into the afterlife. It makes no sense at all. It's stupid and dumb, and it just feels like the actor that they cast too. He even looks like the guy from Wednesday season 1. He even looks like Adam from Your Honor. He looks like a cross between him and Finn Wolfhard. And you know what else this movie has in common with Ghostbusters Afterlife? I mean, not Afterlife, Frozen Empire. This movie also has like a plot about a character falling in love with a ghost character and then purposefully committing suicide basically to be with that ghost. So that's really hilarious too. I don't know if you guys thought about that, but like that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait a second, this is like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Like, didn't I already see that movie in the spring of this year and that movie sucked too? Another thing that was really strange about this movie, and this isn't a thing about the movie itself, but this movie came out in the beginning of September instead of coming out near Halloween. I thought that was really a strange choice because this is a Halloween movie. Was the movie not even going to be in theaters on Halloween? Like, are they going to take it out early or something? This movie, it felt like it should have been a no-brainer that this would be in theaters on Halloween, And I don't even like the movie. I think it did the movie a disservice. So, Jenna's character, she was good. I liked her. Her story, though, was really cliche. She just had issues with her mom. Her mom won't spend time with her or something. It's just the same old shit you've seen in, better movies in the 80s and 90s, It's just completely retreaded old stories. And speaking of retreaded old stories, let's get to Monica Bellucci's character. What's her character's name again? I don't even think. Did they even say her name? Oh, Dolores. That's a funny name for her character. She had this really, really long opening scene where she, puts her body parts together and they're playing this music with it, and Danny DeVito's this janitor and he gets killed. He's her victim. He's her first victim. And I thought, actually, that was probably my favorite scene of the whole movie. And I thought, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of this cool, new, interesting idea, this interesting character. I want to see more of her. And but then after that, her character basically is like a cameo in the rest of the movie. It's so weird, guys. It is so bad. It is so bad. I hate it. I hate this movie. Can you tell? Almost everything about this movie I hate. They did such a poor job it making a sequel to Beetlejuice. Like, it just... I just miss good movies. I just miss good sequels, too. Like, you think about Psycho 2, for instance. That movie is a masterpiece. You think about Halloween 2. It's also really good. It's the best one of the series, for sure. Friday the 13th 2. Even Ghostbusters 2 is better than this movie. Like, this movie, I can't say enough bad things about it. Like, there's too many plots. They're all worthless and trash and cliche. Okay, yeah, Monica Bellucci's character, she has this whole origin story with Beetlejuice where they showed them in, like, this black and white flashback. And she did this thing, I guess, where she was trying to curse him or something, and she's coming back for revenge. And you know what that reminded me of? Dark Shadows. It reminded me of Tim Burton's Dark Shadows movie. So that also just kind of felt like a ripoff of that. So again, like, this movie, it had too many plots. It felt like a TV show. It felt like a commercial. It was dull, boring, lifeless, heartless. All of the things that happened in the movie didn't even feel like they actually happened. They felt like there was no weight to anything. There was no real emotion to anything going on. It was like a funhouse ride. It was like a roller coaster. It was almost like an MCU movie. It was like an MCU movie, but with Beetlejuice in it and made by Tim Burton. So, and the way the movie ends is probably the worst part of the movie, because they have this whole, like, cliche, horrible, like, overly sanguine moment, saccharine. This overly saccharine moment where Winona Ryder, she tells her audience that I need to stop spending so much time talking with the dead and start spending time with the living. Like, that was so cringeworthy, I wanted to throw up. Like, seriously, like, that's how bad that was. And then they showed this bizarre, almost like a Hallmark movie type of sequence, this montage where she's spending time with her daughter. Her daughter gets married to this random guy who's playing Dracula out on the street corner in some random city. And then she's having a baby, and it turns into a Beetlejuice baby. And just, I don't know what was going on with the ending of this movie. It was so bad. I hated this movie. What's really funny, too, is that they came out with these Beetlejuice Fantas. I already mentioned that in the beginning of this video. And the Beetlejuice Fanta, the green one, is actually the perfect food review for this movie, because it tasted awful. It had so many flavors that I couldn't tell what it was supposed to be. It was not a good soda at all. It also just felt like they didn't put much thought or effort into it. It was like a product. It was like a commercial product. Like, here, drink this green goo, this green slime drink. Yeah. So anyways, please like this video, comment, and tell me what you thought of this awful sequel. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest movie reviews. Because I'm sorry, guys, like, I wanted to love this movie. Okay, like, I was looking forward to this movie. I was just anticipating it for the longest of times. But it just, I can't give a bad movie a good review. Like, this was bad. It was really, really bad. So goodbye, everybody. See you soon for The Old Man Season 2 premiere. Ugh.